Pride Month, everyone. Actually, psych, I lied. It's no longer Pride Month when I am recording this video because it took me so long to make. Then I recorded it July 1st. Today's July 2nd because I realized I had an echo effect in my audio and I did not want to record that again. So that's why you're only getting the mic and no camera today. So enjoy this beautiful gameplay I have saved on my PC. Just before I start the video, I just want this to be known. This is going to be more of a political channel, political comedy. I want it to be informative to people who aren't as deep into the rabbit hole of politics as I am, and they don't have to get too deep into that rabbit hole to understand the politics of what's going on around them. So I will be dunking on conservatives, but I will deconstruct ideas, make a few video essays, and make a few 30-minute ones, to get my badge of honor. But today we're going to focus on a few of these idiots and trans people because I figured it was fun. Pride Month just happened and it's only getting worse. So I figured this is a good way to inform a lot of people what's going on. Let's go. So if you have not been keeping up with the current politics of what's been going on for the last few weeks or days, everything's been kind of tossy-turny with trans people in the last couple of weeks. My state of Ohio just made a law banning, not really banning trans people from playing sports, but basically banning them from playing sports. That if you are suspected of being trans while playing sports and playing female sports, you will the other team can basically invade your privacy, demand you get a physical check and get a genitalia check, a testosterone check, an estrogen check, and get all these various tests. And until you do, you can't compete. So that's definitely not going to be abused. But after that, Texas is being Texas. All these don't say gay bills back in May and early June, like with Florida. Myself, Ohio tried to do one. I think that's still up in the legislature. But it's not looking good right now. So I wanted to make this video relating it back to athletics. It's something I know. I've played sports my entire life. I'm not the best at it. And I'm not an expert, but I at least know enough to inform other people. All right? So with the Ohio bill, it's going to be abused. It's going to lead to sexual assault of high school girls because, it's not like this state just dealt with a sexual assault case on Ohio State in their sports program. No, not at all. Nah. So it's going to lead to that. And this bill affects 400,000. Let me say it again. 400,000 female athletes in the entire state of Ohio. We have 5 female trans athletes in the state. You made this bill for 5 people. 5 people. That is insane. Absolutely mind-boggling. And I know people are be like, oh, but they have an unfair advantage. No, they don't. Unfair advantages are built into sports. Steroid era baseball. Many people take PEDs, right? And a lot of athletes are just genetically built for their sports a lot better. Michael Phelps is basically part fish. His body's built basically perfectly to be the best swimmer that he can be. And other athletes who weren't so genetically gifted took steroids to get better. TRT, the thing that trans men take to build muscle and gain facial hair, like all that, TRT for trans men, Messi, the famous soccer player, considered one of the greatest to ever do it, took TRT when he was growing up because it was helping his body fight early onset dwarfism, which would have made him not as good of a soccer player. So he took hormone replacement therapy. Joe Rogan has talked about him taking TRT before and actually recommends it to other people.
Doesn't that kind of...
You mean like testosterone?
Yeah.
100% helps. I told them too. I told them this is a fucking...
You should have made them shoot shit. All those motherfuckers.
I gave them my doctor's information. It helps.
I gotta get you side on this.
Oh yeah, you should. I'm failing all those tests. Yeah, testosterone replacement therapy, hormone replacement therapy. I started doing all that when I was 40. So that's their age.
So this is something that's been very heavily documented that other men do. TRT is something men take to stop balding. Actually, no, not TRT. They actually take hormone replacement that trans women take. Men who try to stop balding take estrogen because it decreases their testosterone and stops them from balding, because balding happens when you have overproduction of testosterone in your body. So next time you yell at trans people for taking hormones or their bone density, there's literally no proof to say they have a competitive advantage, and if they did, it wouldn't matter.
Well, this is one of the problems with this left-wing gender ideology, is that no one who espouses it can even tell you what these words mean. Someone with female reproductive organs.
Okay.
Someone who's, here's the thing, when you're female, it goes right down to your bones, your DNA. So that's why if someone dies, we could dig up their bones 100 years from now. We have no idea what they believed in their head, but we can tell what sex they were because it's ingrained in every fiber of their being.
So if you don't know who Matt Walsh is, you're lucky. But Matt Walsh is what happens to take homophobia, transphobia, and turn that into a person, and then that person's life mission was to kill that group of people. So Matt Walsh spent all of 2022 and late 2021 producing this documentary called What is a Woman? Him in the Daily Wire. And it's about trans people. And he was trying to bump it up to get the hate watchers to watch it. So all the liberals would watch it and say how bad it is, and he could gain money off of them hate watching it. But since so many people knew that's what he wanted, all of them just ignored it, and then it flopped. So now they're putting ads out all over YouTube, even on leftist YouTube channels, just because they're desperate for money. Like Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh had to put these at their Twitter profile pictures to try and get more people to watch it, and it just didn't work. So now they're putting out a lot of clips on it on YouTube. So, and this is one of the clips. The girl in the clip goes by the name of Selena Soul. If you don't remember who she is, back in 2019, she and two other girls sued the Connecticut Athletics office for allowing two other trans girls to compete with the three other girls, and saying they had competitive advantages since they went through male puberty, and it's unfair because we can't compete with them. And they sued the state government. It fell on its face instantly. But she's basically ever since then been trying to gather support for people with her going to college, and how she says, I've been banned from college athletics because of the lawsuit. Yeah, she's just been going around trying to parade as oh, woe's me, no one likes me. Now she's on a campaign run like Kyle Rittenhouse to try and gain support, but since no one cares, she's just been irrelevant for the longest time. So let's get into this video.
And once the gun went off, the two transgender athletes took off flying and left all of us girls in the dust.
Maybe because you had a bad start. I've seen cisgender girls get out the blocks terribly and then get dusted for the first 20 meters, but I don't see them throwing their hands up in arms. It's just a part of the sport.
Throughout all 4 years of high school, I was forced to compete against biological males. I only competed against them in the sprinting events, but I raced against these athletes over a dozen times throughout the years, and every single time I lost.
You know what they did instead of crying? They got better.
Did they inch you out of medals that you would have won otherwise, or trophies you would have won?
They beat me out by 20 meters out of medals, and qualifying spots. I missed out on qualifying for New England's. I had to go in the long jump and the 4x200 meter relay, so I was forced on the sidelines in my own event, and if they were not there, I would have been able to qualify. So I missed out on so much throughout my high school career.
Maybe because you never PR'd consistently. Like, I looked through your athletic.net profile, you really only PR'd one time, and you never really reached around that PR ever again. Now, I did have my track teammates look at her profile as well, because I'm not the best at looking at times to figure out if someone's good or not. So I gave it to my track teammates who do run. They said she looked pretty good. So I'm not saying she's a terrible runner, because if that is the case, then she really shouldn't be talking. But it just looks like to me she never PR'd consistently. I got beat out for spots on sports teams all the time, but that's just the nature of athletics. You don't get drafted. All right. Like, you don't see NFL athletes crying because they didn't get drafted, didn't get that new paycheck signed. No, they understand why, because they didn't work hard enough or they didn't produce. A ton of people at USA Track and Field Championships lost opportunities because they didn't get on the team to go to Worlds, but they go home and they get better and know next season they overcome those genetic advantages. Joe Kovac is only 6 foot, and Ryan Krauser is 6'7", but they're still competitive with each other. Both know how to overcome their genetic disadvantages. Ryan has less because he's more gifted in that sense, but Joe knows he can't focus on what Ryan has and what he doesn't have. He just does it.
Did they win all the events or almost all the events?
Between the two of them, they won every single event they competed in.
No, they didn't. All right, so in the end, she says that her hard work was lost, which, I mean, it wasn't. Your hard work is really lost because you tried to sue and make yourself look like an evil person. If you hadn't done anything, you probably could have gotten some offers for some D1 schools, some D2 schools. It doesn't look like you were bad. It's just that you look like a terrible person, so any track team in college picking you up would have gave them terrible PR. So, yeah, that's why your hard work is lost, because you decided to be an evil person. So, Fox News. So, back in February, Leah Thomas beat out an Olympian at NCAA's swimming championships, which a lot of the transphobes threw their hands up in arms because, another trans person won something. But Olympians lose out in their native countries all the time. Like, Raven Saunders came in second in Tokyo, but then came in fourth at USA Track and Field Championships in June. That's just the nature of sports.
University of Pennsylvania swimmer Leah Thomas taking first place in the NCAA 500-yard freestyle. She is the first transgender athlete to be crowned NCAA champion, but not without controversy, because critics say she has an unfair physical advantage over the other swimmers and should not have been allowed to compete. Now, second place went to University of Virginia swimmer Emma Wyant, who won a silver medal in last year's Tokyo Olympics. She's getting an outpouring of support on social media, with some calling her the true winner. And we saw, Lauren, at that medal ceremony, the crowd was virtually silent when Leah Thomas was announced the winner, the first place winner, and yet they went crazy cheering for the second place
because
winner.
Leah Thomas went through puberty, right, as a boy. She has bigger lungs, bigger arms, bigger hands, and now she's competing against women who don't have that physically. So they viewed the second place.
Wait, also, she got second in the 400 in Tokyo, but second in the 500 to Leah. You're comparing these distances like they're the exact same. If you don't understand what I'm trying to say, it's like having a 100 runner who's number one in the country, but for the 100, and then being surprised if he doesn't get first place in the 200. Like, no, it's not his normal race. He's the best at the 100, not best at the 200. She's the best in America for the 400 meter in swimming and second best in the world for the 400. But in her home nation, she's only second among college swimmers. Like, this is very normal. Like, they're trying to hide this fact like you won't notice it. They're acting like the distances that she came in second and Leah in were the exact same, but they're not. All right, so in conclusion, sports, it has genetic unfairness, genetic advantages and disadvantages among athletes all the time. To focus on trans people as a new phenomena that's messing up sports, it's completely untrue. Most of these people who complain about high school women's sports have never gone to a women's basketball game for high school, never gone to a WNBA game, never gone to a women's track meet, and don't plan to. Do I think Matt Walsh has actually gone to a women's track meet? No. And do I think he ever will? No. He just hates trans people and doesn't want to see them anywhere happy, so he's going to do anything that makes them unhappy. And it's taking away a recreational activity they like to do, he'll do it. Fox News, they just like to watch the world burn to right-wing fascism, so guess what? They don't care. This is going to be an upcoming problem. And to all of the Republican, all of the right-wing gays, all the Dave Rubins, all the Christian walkers, when they were all coming at trans people, y'all were right in line saying trans people are ugly. They're not a part of our community. But as soon as they felt like, oh, we got the trans people put away, let's go back to the gay people like it's the 90s again. You guys switched up. They're like, wait, we're on your side. We helped you fight the trans. Yes, because it's latest hired, first fired. Okay? You are the new people to be accepted into right-wing politics, which means you're the first people to be turned back on the enemy with. And guess what? All the black conservatives, we're next. As soon as they're done messing with LGBTQ policies, guess what? We're next. We're next. If you saw with Roe v. Wade, one senator was like, let's go for Brown versus Board of Education again to legalize school segregation. We're going back in time and we're speeding up this path to fascism. So hopefully things get better. I don't know. But I don't know. All right, guys. Well, this is the end of the video. I don't know if you tell me in the comments what topic you want to do next. I kind of want to do a video on abortion, but that gets super heated and I don't know if I want to. But my summer's been pretty decent, by myself, which isn't the greatest thing in the world. Like, not the greatest thing in the world. But I've been chill, having fun, working out, getting in shape. So hopefully everyone else here is having a great time this summer, not looking at politics as much as I am, but that's what I got to do. Got books to read, getting ready for the ACT. I'm just going to try and get better. So I'll see you guys later.